Okay, I'm going to test my mobile broadcast studio, the minimal setup, almost minimal. So I will start with assembling the beach trolley. And the main question is it able to transport my gear to the location? Because it is $50 beach trolley. So I have Nanlite 240C. What else? Okay. I have two short bags. Then the camera. The power station and the sound bag. That might be tricky. I can probably do not take sound bag, but I want to check how the TIOS performs outside when it is windy and what protection I have to use. Also the Sachler, and now the problem starts. That should be the other way around. Maybe I can have the bag on my arm. And the light stand is the biggest thing, which might be the most annoying to transport. But I wonder if I can easily transport it, mostly because of this light stand, but maybe I can like put the legs inside, and other than that it should be okay. So let's see, I have like 2 hours to sunset, and it is the weather forecast says that it shouldn't rain, but it looks like it could rain any moment. So let's see. Only the power station is not weatherproof, the rest I think is weatherproofed, so that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so I'm dragging this. I have found a loop, so the light stand is not a problem, and this it is going, you know, there are roots and it's quite damp here, so it's not going that bad, but it's a hassle to lug it. I lugged it already like 150 meters, and I want another 200 probably to the location I want. Maybe I should get my car to a different location, to the closer location, but I wanted to check how hard it is to lug this. It's not that easy, but it's not really bad also. Okay, so I'm setting up the location. So it was like, so the cart weighs like, I think 30 to 40 kilos, so it's quite heavy with all the equipment, and I won't be able to push the cinema cart here because the cinema cart has the center of gravity much higher, so it would like topple on every route here, and this one was quite easy to move, and I can hear some wild animals here, which is nice. So I'll try to set up the shot. In theory the sun is somewhere there, but it's very cloudy, so probably I don't have to fight much with the sun. And this is quite a simple setup, although maybe I could not bring the audio back, which is a bit annoying because I'm afraid I would lose some elements because there is no real cover, but we'll see. So we start with setting up the camera and frame and exposure, and then we'll set up the light and the power station. So I have a backpack today, not a doctor bag, because the doctor bag is too big for the beach trolley. So, and I'm recording with DJI Mic Mini, and I also want to check the DJI TIOS and see how this setup works in a field. So we'll see. I'm starting with 35 and it's quite damp here, and I don't have any field monitor, so I guess I have to fix this. I don't have a field monitor, so it would be quite hard and challenging to set up the frame, but maybe I could manage. I could grab an iPad mini or my other tablet, but I wanted to have minimal number of elements for the first time and see how that goes. It's not that easy to set up the tripod on moss, but maybe I will manage to do it. And I think I need a shot bag for this tripod because it seems unstable, wobbly bobbly. Fortunately I brought both cards, and it's probably too low, not that much, but a bit. So I'm setting up the shot with 35, so now I have to prepare the audio, and I have no idea at the moment how to mic up myself with deity, but I guess I would install it somewhere, maybe here, I don't know. I want to eliminate the, and I think I would install one stop of ND first. Where is timecode? Here is timecode. So I wonder if a single cable is enough or I need to use that splitter. I kinda like the timecode workflow, but the DJI TC one would be nice. So let me see if this would sync. It actually synced the time, and I wonder which channel would be fed into the camera, if this is the proper channel. It is. So one cable is enough for this, for one camera setup. For two cameras I fit, and there is a plane, of course. So for two cameras I have the splitter, so I can feed the timecode from Zoom F6 directly to two cameras. So now I have to mic up the deity. It's not that windy here. I wonder, should I glue it with Rycot to my t-shirt, because this Rycot loses the glue, and I ruined already one t-shirt with it, but maybe it would came off in the laundry. So I think I would mic up here on the t-shirt and see if it generates the noise. It might. We'll see. Is it? Probably. I don't have headphones because I wanted to minimize the setup, but I think it was a mistake. Maybe this is because actually there is some wind and some stuff. Anyway, I think I would set up the light now. So I will start recording without the light. So this is the setup. This is 35, some kind of the medium shot, and I'm recording the sound almost. Now I'm recording also in Zoom F6, so that's the setup. It's quite windy. You can hear the wind in the tops of the trees, so quite windy. And this is 35 on Sony A7 IV, and I'm time syncing that with Zoom F6 via the cable. I guess I would buy one TC1 from DJI, so then I have the more or less wireless setup of timecode, although at the moment it is like one time setup, so I sync the DJI TEOS with the Zoom F6, and that would keep the time for 12 hours at least, and in theory for 48. So, and then I feed the time to the cameras via cable. It is an audio track, but if you import into DaVinci, one click and you got a time code from the audio track, so it's quite easy. So I'm not sure how the exposure looks like. I have one stop of ND, so it's getting darker. I guess I have to mark my spot somehow. Yeah, here. So maybe I would remove the filter in a second, but programming the filters is not that easy. So this is probably underexposed, and I think I have to move the light a bit higher if I want to. So what is the exposure now? It is f2 and 8/10, so not even f2.8, so it is definitely too dark. So I have to bring the light, and it's getting windier and windier. So I wonder how this is recorded on both mics, and if DJI is making. I got this under my sweater, so I don't know. Okay, so of course after my experiments the camera settings were wrong. So let me check what is the exposure now. I think it's too high, but maybe it's okay. And this is the one stop too high, so I should bring it to that. Probably too much. Okay, this should be okay. So it is, the Nanlite is at 2%. It is like 1 meter from my face. Maybe I should angle it a bit more to my side. I don't like it's probably a mistake not to have a monitor, but I wanted to minimize this, so that's why I haven't brought one. So that's the look with the 35. Maybe I'll also check different focal lengths, but probably not. This is just the test of the setup and how easy it is to set up and how easy it is to start recording. So I started recording after around 20 minutes of getting here, but I was ready earlier, so the setup should be 10 minutes. I should be able to set this up with 10 minutes, but I also want to check if it's necessary to use the diffusion. At the moment it's bare panel, so I don't have a diffusion, and I have to angle it a bit. So I will check the exposure now. F407, so it's really bright exposure. So actually this light is quite impressive in terms of the power, and I will check the power station. And the power station takes 14 watts, so it would last for 16 hours with that setup. So 16 hours of recording at 2% with Nanlite 240C. So there is no diffusion at the moment, and maybe now the panel is too high, but it's hard to tell. Anyway, that's the look. Amaran 240C 5600 Kelvin. My first take was with the wrong CCT and camera wrong white balance, so might be off, but this one should be okay, and it is one stop of ND in camera. So if I don't have ND filter, then it might be even too bright at 1%. Of course I can push it back or put the diffusion, and I will put the diffusion in a second to see if it is any better. It's hard to say, judging on the small monitor on the camera. So I will now grab the diffusion, drink some tea, and put it on. Okay, so now it is, and probably I have to angle it differently, but now it is without the light, so probably too dark, and it's getting a bit darker. So it's 2%, not enough, but I have to angle it again. So it would be a bit different angle than with the, where is that stick that marked where I have to stand here? So it would be a bit different angle, and what is annoying that I got new softbox for the 240C, and this one seems not to lose that much Velcro hooks, but it is kinda annoying because the diffusion seems to be like 1 centimeter too small, so it unvelcros itself after some time. So I wonder what is the exposure now, and if this is correct exposure. This is not the best idea to have the application open, because I changed the green magenta shift, and this and something is, oh, come on, F4.01. so it is in theory okay exposure, and the problem is that this light goes by only 1% increments, but with this diffusion, I guess this one is okay. It is F4.4, so should be okay. That's with less dense diffusion. It is like one stop diffusion, maybe 0.75. So this looks like that. Actually, I have to go to 4%, so seems like it's one stop, because it was at 1% without the diffusion. So I have to review it on a bigger screen to see if the diffusion makes sense, but it's not like the very time-consuming setup, because the softbox is actually assembled, so you just put it on the light and it's there. The most annoying part is the diffusion, which seems to be too small, and there are some gaps between diffusion and the diodes. Like I can see a row of diodes on top, but other than that, this light is quite impressive, because at 4% I could probably run it for 8 hours, and I put a foil back on my power station. Probably not a good idea, so unless it's raining, so maybe that would be a good idea. So I can run this setup for like the whole day with this small power station, and I can have proper exposure. Of course, if it's brighter outside, then I have to run this at higher power, then it won't last that much. So I will need bigger power station, but at half the power I can run it for 3 to 4 hours anyway, so it's quite nice. I guess that there is some, even if this is not shining, then it takes some power, so there is some idle power consumption, but other than that I can actually power off the brick and then it doesn't take the power. Although if this power station is turned on, any power station is turned on, and the inverter is turned on, then the inverter, even if it's not powering anything, it still eats some energy. So if you don't run any appliance, you should power off the inverter in the power station like that, so the AC plugs should be off. Each power station have a button to do it, so you should operate it like that. So okay, this is the lighter diffusion, and I think I have it set up correctly, but it would be nice to have a actually have a monitor here. So next time I will bring one, but with the monitor I have to bring the stand, which makes it a bigger package, so it's a trade-off. I wonder about the I think that maybe there is no, so maybe there is no clothing rustle, I don't know, but I think that what is recorded is the white noise, so this wind. So yeah, so I guess this looks okay. I'm guessing it looks okay because it's hard to judge on this small monitor, but that looks like that, the medium shot. So grab another diffusion, the dense one, which I never know. I think the dense one is magic cloth, and this one is frost or something like that. So let me check the other one, and I'm back in a second, and we'll power off the light when I don't use it. The denser diffusion have the same problem. It's a bit too small, or maybe I have to install it the other way around, but it's supposed to be a square. It looks like a rectangle. That one edge is a bit shorter, I don't know. So now it should be, of course, now it should be, where is that marker here? So it should be softer light. There is a, I will show the setup in a second, F4.2, so in theory it is the proper exposure. I can add 1% if I find my phone. It depends what look I'm going for. So let's go at 10% f4.4, so not that, so like this diffusion is much denser, f4.5 here. So I don't know if this is, maybe I'll like go, I usually go f4.3 on my face, 4.3 at 12%, and there is some kind of the bird, either the magpie or the other one, which I forget the name. It's suika in Polish. So anyway, this at 12%. It's like 1 meter, maybe 1 meter 20 from my face, and guessing from this small monitor, it looks nice. Although it is hard to say. I can move it closer to have softer look. I can move it farther away to have more even and a bit harsher look. And this is with the double diffusion or denser diffusion. It is, I think, looks like 2 stops. And there is this annoying crease in the middle of this light, but I think it does not impact the light quality that much. So that's the look with the denser diffusion, and I have to check as the settings are proper. So yeah, it's like quite portable setup. Sure, it weighs like 30 kilos probably, maybe even 40. Maybe I have weighed all the elements. The most annoying thing about this is that I have to have the sound back on my arm. It was the most annoying part of this, I think, and the rest is not that bad. I have to check the power station at 12%. At 12% it takes 33 watts, so it is quite nice. So that can work for 10 hours or 20. Let me check what the power station says. 8 hours. It says 8 hours for some reason, but I thought it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. because it's around 400 watt hours, so it seems reasonable, because so first of all, the inverter ratio is around 0.8, so you lose 20% of energy on the inverter. It would be nice to have the cable that powers directly the brick with the DC, but this power station does not have 48 volts. But this power station does not have 48 volts output. Maybe there are bigger power stations with such output. Maybe I should check the DJI power station. Maybe they got some dedicated output for lights like that. Or maybe if you get a cable with the V-mount locks, maybe there are some plates like that. I don't know, I have to check it. If I get a monitor, the monitor would take another 20 watts, so the power station would work for a shorter amount of time, but this setup can work for 8 hours, so it's quite impressive. The light is like 1 meter 20 centimeters. I haven't got the tape measure, I should. So yeah, that's how this looks like, and maybe I'll show the setup. So the whole setup looks like that. There is a camera, there is a light, there is a beach trolley with the power station in it, and there is a backpack, and there is a sound bag, and there is a power brick. So I'm standing here quite close because it's 35, and it looks like that. I am recording at f2.8. I usually record video at f2.8, so that's the look. And now I will attach the Sigma 85 and see how that looks. So I have to move back a bit with the 85. Okay, have to mark it. And this is 85 without the light. And maybe I should move it closer. Probably it's a good idea to move it closer. Yeah, why not? So yeah, that should be better if it's closer. I forgot to drink my tea, and it's 1.5 hours till sunset, so it is in theory golden hour. And what is the exposure now? It went to sleep. F4.2. No, not sure why. Okay, 14% now. It's the same distance as before, but it says f4.3. So 14% now with Sigma 85. Not sure it's not. Maybe it's a bit overexposed, but it's hard to say. So this is 85 millimeters with this setup. So it's like the portrait shot. Looks okay. I have to like back up by 50 centimeters maybe to have this frame, and I think it looks okay. And I'm in theory I'm recording the shallow side of my face, and yeah, it is quite nice, I have to say. And it was quite easy to bring it up here. I guess it's a nice experiment. I wonder about the sound quality from both of these mics. I know that DJI have much better sound quality, but not sure what is the protection about the clothing noise. Like maybe I should think about something different. Maybe I should I could mount it under my cap, so maybe I would check it in a second. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. To do it, it still records 32-bit float, so even if the levels are too high, I can hide it. Although if I like maybe my cap so my beanie does not move at all. So okay, let me try attach it under my beanie. So I have to unglue it from here, and probably I ruined my, yes, so it's not sure it's visible, so it's glue. So new records leave the glue on the clothing, so I do not recommend use them on the clothing, because somebody might be pissed at you, really pissed, if you use it like that. Yeah, so now the diet is under my beanie. It's not windy now, so probably it's not a like really good test of this mic, but actually with the beanie I should start from miking up it on my forehead. That's the look with 85, and with double diffusion. Maybe I should check, why not? I would check the single diffusion and no diffusion. So let me check. It was at 14% with the, so I'm going to 7 now and see if this is overexposed. This is this single diffusion, single layer, and unfortunately the mic pulls hard on my head. It's too much. %, too much. Okay. Okay, I will leave it at 4. It is F4.4, so that's the single diffusion. And actually I wonder if the diffusion is actually needed, because if not, then this might be like smaller and faster setup. I hope I don't need it, but maybe. So this might be much faster setup, and it would take less space. So in theory I can just grab the panel itself, the brick and the cables, and the mounting brackets for the ballast and the light itself, and actually dump the whole big transport bag for the light, which takes a lot of space. So maybe it's a good idea, and that would take less space, and I can bring, instead of this big box, I can bring the field monitor and the stand for monitor. So that's the single diffusion with 85, and I will remove the diffusion. And actually I haven't tested the 35 without the diffusion, but with the softbox. And the plus of the softbox is that it limits the spill, and the softbox is quite easy to transport and install. And actually even this replacement softbox is still losing the Velcro hooks, but it seems it loses like 20% of the other one was losing. So we'll see. Then actually there is a Godox softbox which has similar dimensions, so maybe I will get the Godox and forget about the crappy softbox from Nanlite. Anyway, let me check this without the diffusion. Okay, so now without the diffusion it is probably overexposed, so let me change the settings. I guess that might cause some noise, unfortunately. So this is at 2%, and would be nice to have some monitoring tool, except this. And at 2% it is 4.3, which I hope is okay, because I have a ND filter in the meter, so that should be correct exposure. And it looks like that without the diffusion, but with the softbox. So I will remove the softbox. Actually the softbox directs the light towards me, so probably there is less spill, but I'm not sure there is any spill, because there is no background. Actually, I mean, there are some trees, but not sure there is a spill on them. So 2%, and I guess if I remove the, and again, it's not a good idea to have this application open, because I bumped the green magenta shift and it went by 3 points, but again, quite annoying. So close the application if you don't change the settings. I mean, close the phone, so you don't push the application accidentally, like I did already a few times. So again, no diffusion, just the softbox, and now I will try without the softbox. Shouldn't change the look much, but maybe. Okay, so no softbox. I'm not sure, there is a different exposure, of course. Okay, what, it's at 1% now. F4.2. So I guess both are okay. Depends what look you are going for. And this is F4.6, so it is exposed higher than before, but maybe it was not. So I will check this on the parades in DaVinci if there is a difference with the softbox and without. Actually, with the softbox I should have higher exposure. It doesn't matter that much. The main reason was to check if I can actually log this here, and seems I can. So now I would disassemble this and go home, and I hope I won't leave anything here like battery or a mic or whatever. So that was the test of the mobile setup with Nanlite 240C. I guess the Alien 300C would be better, although it is smaller, so creates harsher light, but it's one piece light and it's easier to set up. I'm not sure, I think it still have a power brick, so not better in terms of number of elements. The better would be something with a power brick built in. I have to check if Alien has a built-in power brick or not. I think not. So there are other lights like Asteras with built-in power brick, which are better for such scenario. But I'm not sure about their actually lighting power. So I have to check. But this is 250 watt panel, but the output due to the lenses, 60-degree lens, is very high. It is higher than at 1 meter than 240C without any modifier, so it is quite powerful light. So that's it for today, and I have to pack it up and lug it to my car, which is like 500 meters away. And actually it is not as bad as I thought it would be. So anyway, only the light tripod left, so I will stop recording, and like I can pack it up within 10 minutes easily. If I'm actually in the rush, this could be faster. So that's the wrap. Cheers, mate.